The 6th episode of The Amazing Digital Circus just came out, and oh boy do I have some stuff to say. Before I start this video, I want to say there will be spoilers from episode 6, as well as probably some other episodes. If you haven't watched it yet, click off this video and watch it now, so I'm not spoiling the episode for you. This video will primarily be about JAX, since I think this episode was mostly centered around him, even though we got really good scenes for every character. I might do a deeper analysis on every character once episode 7 comes out, but for now this is all I got. Now, let's get on to the video. JAX is probably one of the most complex characters in The Amazing Digital Circus, as he is a bully to literally everyone around him, and the second he bonds with someone and has a meaningful conversation with them, he pushes them away. In episode 5 and 6, he has a lot of interactions with Pomni, and at the end of episode 5, the two walk off into the sunset because JAX wants to show Pomni something, I don't know. I really wish we got to see that conversation they had. But anyways, by the end of the episode, they seem to have gotten a lot closer, and once episode 6 rolled around, the two teamed up in a game of shooting everyone, I guess. So they spend like 5 minutes preparing, and JAX talks to Pomni about letting loose a bit and having fun. After that conversation, they're basically little evil buddies through the rest of the episode, and surprisingly, it's very wholesome. Seeing the two bond made me really happy, but oh gosh, was I not prepared for the rest of the episode. In short, the pair wins the game, and that's when it all goes downhill. Pomni literally hugs JAX even though she hates physical touch, I think at least, and out of fear of letting anyone in, JAX quickly pushes her off him. She of course is taken aback by this, and JAX brushes it off immediately to avoid having a serious conversation about it. Pomni then refers back to the original rules of the game where you have the chance to betray the other.
I suppose this is the part where one of us betrays the other.
JAX sort of just throws his gun on the ground and says that she can betray him, and then yells at her for not committing to the bit. JAX continues denying everything they did together, making the excuse that he was just doing it because he thought it was funny. Once Pomni clocks his ass and says that he doesn't realize his behavior can cause abstraction, he loses it and yells at her before stopping himself and just going back to that creepy smile and seemingly just factory resetting. And again, going back to pressuring Pomni to shoot him. Then comes the most painful part of the episode. She asks JAX what he'd do if she abstracted tomorrow.
What would you do if I abstracted tomorrow?
I'd move on. And probably forget about you.
Okay. Okay. I understand.
After JAX said that, I really thought Pomni was going to shoot herself, as many others did as well. Instead, she clocks him again and fights him while demanding he fight back. She knows he cares, and JAX crashes out and goes on some goofy speech about how he's literally just a jerk on purpose.
You are my playthings, and I get joy out of making you suffer. I'm the one who causes pain for fun. If I led you on, it was just to make this part hurt you more.
Then, during the favorite character awards, JAX goes to the bathroom and has a full-on panic attack. I think everyone thought he was going to abstract here, but he quickly calms himself down and says that he looks stupid. This episode clearly displays JAX's self-hatred and how he copes with it. He's also very obviously grieving his old friend Ribbit, which may be why he acts the way he does in the first place. Remember when JAX said people aren't pleasant to be around before they abstract? My theory here is something bad happened between him and Ribbit, causing Ribbit to abstract and for JAX to think it was his fault. This is probably where he started being more of an asshole, pushing everyone away and making sure he never got close to anyone ever again. And I can't believe I have to say this, but guys, JAX's trauma does not give him any excuse to bully and abuse literally everyone around him. He's still being a terrible person and causing pain to everyone in the circus, and the fact that some people are still glazing him and defending his actions is wild to me. JAX is a complete jerk who makes sure his true feelings towards anyone in the circus doesn't get out and hurts them in the process. Yes, he does actually care, at least for some people, but that doesn't make anything he's doing okay. JAX is an abuser regardless of his trauma. Just because he was traumatized doesn't make his coping mechanisms healthy, and they're actually quite harmful to the people around him, and it shows. There's been a theory going around that Ribbit was also abusive towards JAX, which actually surprisingly makes a lot of sense. With the way JAX was describing how people are before they abstract, it seems like Ribbit may have gotten more out of control and began to start making JAX feel like everything was his fault. And with how upset and crazy Jax was feeling in this episode, it seems like maybe the trauma that causes him to be abusive himself isn't just grieving the loss of a friend and something much more than that. The reason Jax is so awful to others and constantly pushes anyone away who gets too close is probably because he's absolutely horrified of someone hurting him like that again, or maybe he's scared that someone will make him feel like everything was his fault. Another thing Jax does to cope, as well as avoid any accountability, is telling himself it's all just a game, and everyone is just another character in the game. He sees the people in the circus as characters, and only views them as their archetype. However, in this episode, all of his assumptions about people is proven completely wrong. Ragatha is much more complex than just the cheerful one. Gangle isn't the sad one, she just struggles with her mental health, likely having bipolar disorder. Kinger is actually quite sane and wise when he's in the right environment, and Zubul is helpful and caring to those who they care about. And rather than Jax being the funny one, he sort of just proves himself wrong in the episode and shows that not only is he incredibly traumatized, but that he also is unable to sustain any healthy relationship with anyone, and because of that he pushes away everyone before they get too close. Unfortunately, Jax will likely not have a redemption arc, as Goose has stated the next episode will upset some fans, and from what I've heard, the show is overall supposed to have a more complex ending, rather than just a simple happy ending. Obviously, it isn't confirmed that Jax won't get a redemption arc, but it's not looking great. Personally, I do like Jax a lot as a character, and I hope and pray for a redemption arc, but it's hard to believe that he'd actually get one before abstracting. However, in past episodes, Kinger has sort of helped others, like Pomni and Ragatha, so maybe Kinger and Jax will end up in the dark together in the next episode, and maybe even save him from a distraction. The Amazing Digital Circus is heavily inspired by Eye of No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison. Spoiler warning for that book, but by the end of the book, Ted's friends all die, and he is the only one left. The AI torturing the four of them, Allied Master Computer, otherwise known as AM, traps Ted for eternity as a slug with no mouth, hence the name of the book. My personal theory is that everyone in the circus will end up abstracting somehow, including Kane absolutely losing his marbles, and there is only one person left in the circus. I have 3 theories on who will be left, all of which do not include Jax. I have a feeling if this theory is true, that he will abstract sooner or later. I think the person that will be left on their own will either be Pomni, Zubul, or Kinger. Pomni because she's the main character, at least I think she is. Zubul because Kane seems to be getting increasingly less patient with them, meaning he might want to torture them more if Kane does get to the sort of like AM mentality. And Kinger because even after going kind of crazy, he is still pushed through and stayed in the circus without abstracting. It's hard to know what will happen in the next episode, and I'm hoping nothing bad happens to Jax along with all the other characters, but we really don't know yet, and we'll just have to wait it out and see. In conclusion, episode 6 was truly breathtaking. I'm incredibly excited to see what Gooseworks and Glitch have in store for us, and I'm also a bit scared. I haven't done many analysis videos other than my 21 Pilots Breach analysis, so let me know in the comments if you want to see more stuff like this in the future. I also do commentary, animations, and I got some gaming videos planned as well, so if you're interested in any of that, consider subscribing. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.